Welcome to J-Lyn Live. In this clip, we talk about the wisdom of learning to take the top of the thigh bones into the back plane of the body. Here's what we typically do as we move through the world. We let the groins harden and we shove the thigh bones forward. It looks like this. And you see it a lot. We tend to do it when we're holding our kids or when we're carrying heavy groceries. We tend to do it when we chop vegetables at the kitchen counter. We dump into the hip joints and we move the head of the thigh bone hard into the front edge of the hip socket. When we move through life this way, we start to wear away at those articular points where there's too much pressure. Now, when we move the top of the thigh bones to the back plane of the body, we take the head of the femur, the thigh bone, and we move it deep into the cup of the hip socket. And in that way, if we move that way, there is what's called joint congruency. Joint congruency is an even spread of pressure across the articular surfaces when that joint is moving. So there's a minimum of pressure, and we minimize also the degeneration that happens from micro tears in the joint. So take a look. From hard groins, when I move my thigh bones back, I get a nice soft hollow groin. Here's another thing. Thigh bones forward diminishes your lumbar curve. We need that curve. It's part of the architecture of the body. And when we diminish the lumbar curve, we tend to bow out through the thoracic spine. So you can see how this simple action is really fundamental to much of our postural integrity. So thigh bones back is always going to give us our lumbar curve, and we need that curve. So we'll move the thigh bones back, but you also notice, gosh, it feels like I'm sticking my butt out a little too much. And we do want to balance thigh bones back. We balance it with a deep hook of the tailbone tip toward the back of the pubic bone. When the brain tells the tailbone hook forward, often the gluteal muscles will get overexcited and shove the groins forward again. So we have to stay quiet in the butt muscles, keep the thigh bones back, and find that deep hook of the tailbone that tones the pit of the abdomen and pulls it gently up and back without moving the thigh bones forward. So that's your wisdom in this clip. Top of the thigh bones back, keep them back. Tippy tip of the tailbone, hooking toward the back of your pubic bone, and your low back, it's so clearing for your low back. Your low back will celebrate and you'll move through life more freely. Thanks for tuning in.